How's it going, everybody? Doesn't look like there's many people here. It's all right. We got 4 people watching now. I wonder if it's because of the name that I gave the stream. YouTube is really, really weird, so I put the word gun in the name of the stream, so that might be holding it up. We might not be throwing it into the algorithm right now. Oh, okay, there we go. We got 11 people here. Welcome to my stream tonight. I was live earlier today, but I wanted to do a follow-up stream. I was talking about Charlie Kirk earlier today, and I wanted to, just wanted to continue that conversation for anybody that wants to. Wanted to talk about gun rights versus gun laws. Put my jacket on. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, a beautiful day to be a neighbor. Won't you be my neighbor? All right. I don't see anybody chatting. Nobody's saying anything. Please, this is a very open live stream. Whenever I do live streams on my channel, I love talking with you guys. Whether you agree with me or not, I don't want this place to be an echo chamber, but I want to make sure you understand an echo chamber does not mean I'm going to change my mind, and it doesn't mean that you're going to change your mind. It just means we're going to have differing opinions, and we're going to get to talk about them, but nobody has to change their mind. What's up, Dangerous? How's it going, bud? So yeah, depending on how many people we get in and what kind of interactions we get, that'll determine how late I decide to live stream tonight. Oh, I forgot to mix that. Got some fruit punch Crystal Light in there, and it was tart, it was pungent, it was quite. I feel that. Hunting. Unfortunately, I don't. Do you have an MG42? If you've got one that you want to throw my way, I'd be glad to take it. Oh man. So, how's everybody doing on this Saturday night? It has been an emotionally charged and draining week. Oh, I hear you, bud. Sorry. I agree, man. Release the files. Release the files. What's up, Jesus? I'm back. Guess who's back? Back again. It does not look like we're gonna have Geisley or Daniel Defense. Rager, if you're asking Geisley or Daniel Defense, I don't think it matters because you probably are in a price demographic that most people don't have to worry about it. So I say whichever one you like more. Jesus Gallardo, my blazer is small because it's funny. Ultrafire, hey, what's going on? There's 3 Jesus in the chat. There's Jesus, there's Jesus, and there's Jesus. Don't be fooled. Zastava AK. I don't have a Zastava AK. I do have a Norinco AK. It's just not here. Yeah, you can never have too much Jesus in your life. Titan, how's it going, man? Welcome. Welcome to the channel. Anybody that wants to throw in a message, you can throw in a message if you want it to be pinned, if it's a supportive message for the channel. If you want to be the person to be our banner, I will pin it, and you can be the banner for the live stream. If you have questions, if you have something you want to talk about, please feel free to throw it in the chat. I will do my best to catch it and engage. I really try hard to engage with you guys. That's why I do the live streams. That's what I really like doing. It's fun, and it's a good way for us to have a good discussion. So, but if you have questions about the guns, if you have questions about gun calibers, hunting, shooting, anything like that, please feel free to ask. Hey, welcome. Welcome to America, to Marcel in Austria. I think my daughter just came home. Ooh, what's up? Are you going to bed?
Yeah.
Okay. Good night, I love you. I hope you sleep well and have a great day tomorrow too. Titan, yes, all of my guns are real. Home Church of Christ in Des Moines. Awesome. Jesus loves you. I'm glad. I'm glad that Jesus loves me. I love Jesus. So, bag of sand. You want it? Sure. What do you have? I'm not a huge fan of SIG as a company right now. I think that they have some really good firearms that are older. I'm not a huge fan of the P320 models, and I'm not a huge fan of the Spear that they're doing. Best gun for a small woman. Are you the small woman asking, or are you asking for someone else who is a small woman? For those who don't know what 30-06 looks like, Semper Fi. Okay. That's crazy, Marcel. Yeah, this is just me. You want it and fire it live. Bag of sand. There you go. I fired a gun live on my live stream. Yes, Texaco. Thoughts on gun laws in America? Titan. I am a firm believer that all gun laws are unconstitutional. I don't think we should have any. Best gun for truck gun collapsible. Knack. Are you asking for travel purposes, or are you going to leave it in your gun? Because I don't advocate for leaving firearms in a vehicle, at least not anymore. So, Zyro, hey, I'm doing well, bud. Esport Lounge, I sure am. That's all I've got. We've already established I don't have a big dig, so why wouldn't I? PSA Jackal's a good gun. PSA Jackal's a good gun. Okay, yourself, 95 pounds soaking wet. A little bit. What is your experience with firearms? That's a great question to start with now that I know it's you. Fish, I know. I'm trying to grow it. I know it's not great. I try. Yes, these ones can, I could hunt with that one. It just wouldn't be very good. Hey, Tony. But yeah, these are primarily for hunting. So that's the roof lock for a shotgun or car. That's awesome, Dangerous. Thank you, Clippy. Thank you. Artiork. Thank you. I appreciate it. I like my collection. You thought I was doing improv. Dude, that's great. I love it. If it makes you happy. I like the Repo. I like the hatchet. 380 is what my wife carries. Similar size to what you mentioned, and she has close to no experience. Yeah, so 380, I think, like, if you're in a home, yeah, something small to conceal, but enough to matter. If you live in a, if you live, like, in an apartment, especially in, like, a bigger city, I think, like, for in the apartment, I think a 380 is great, especially with, like, a really lightweight ammo or something subsonic with a little bit more mass. The reason I recommend that is because you're less likely to get any over penetration with a 380 than other things, and it's very small and it's easy to conceal. If in your case a little bit, depending on what you have experience with, I would recommend whatever you're most comfortable with. Now, I like Glock patterns. So if you're talking about it, I don't own Glocks. I have Glock clones, but I like the Glock style of pistol. LG, I don't have an A300 Beretta. I do have a Mossberg 930. So a little different than the A300, obviously because it's a Mossberg, but similar. Kind of in that same vein as the Benelli and the A300 or the 1300, the Ultra. So. Go tell the parents who lost their children in schools with the killings that are happening in the USA. I assume you're not in the USA, so I'm happy to talk to parents who have lost their children in shootings. Schmeg, I think the 43 is great. So that's what I was going to say a little bit is if you're looking for a compact or a subcompact, I think Fish, it is a 37 millimeter launcher, and I got it from Exotic Ammo. They sent it out to me. I actually have a box from them that I haven't opened that I was thinking about opening on the stream. Correct, Mango. So, I have an LAM4. That's cool, and yeah, the guns don't shoot themselves. Fan of the XD. I think the XD's all right. Corey, did you see? I have a 37 now. King, I have an AR-10 chambered in 6.5 Creedmoor right here. Right here. Corey, I haven't seen you in a long time, but I've also been streaming a lot earlier than usual, so that could be part of it. Just Josh and your favorite AR-10 out of the box. If I'm being practical, if you're talking about caliber, I'm gonna just say standard 308, like AR-10. If you're asking me what AR-10 is gonna be the best one out of the box, I actually haven't shot a lot of AR-10s. I've shot mine. I've shot a Stag. I've shot a Stag 10, which is pretty nice. Stag 10s are kind of nice because they've got the original Armalite cut, so they've got that angled cut instead of that curved DPMS cut, so they can handle a little bit higher pressures. So the Stag was pretty nice. What else have I shot in AR-10? I've shot my Aero Precision. I have a buddy that has a 308 from Aero Precision. Not an AR-10, but I've shot like a Set-Me, like an FAL clone. That's not bad. I think it just depends on what it is. 308 is a really versatile round, and if you have a firearm that's built to handle 308 and it's, and you know how to shoot 308 properly, and you're proficient with it, then I'd say that it's tough to go wrong. Maybe don't buy an AR-10 from somebody in the back of a trunk in like an inner city street. Like, maybe don't do that, Allie. Don't buy that AR-10. I don't know. Fish, at my unit in the reserves, we have FN M4s. We have 3-round burst M4s. Ours are pretty good. They're beat to shit, but they're pretty good. Yeah, I think Aero is a really good. I think Aero Precision is a really good brand for a good cross between cost and performance. Like, it's a good value, really good value if you know how to put it together. Cabela's parking lot in Farmington. Oh, you're an AGR in Texas? That's awesome. That's awesome, Fish. What would I get a 10-year-old boy for dove hunting? Honestly, maybe like a 20 gauge. Get him a 20 gauge. You meant nothing fancy at Gunny's? That's cool. Some of them are for geese. Also, would somebody be kind enough to give us a banner message? I still don't have a banner. So if somebody wants to type up a supportive, cool, fun banner, I will pin that message, and then we can talk. We can talk more about guns. We can talk more about calibers. We can talk about gun laws versus gun rights. We can talk about Charlie Kirk and what happened there. Speech versus being silenced for speech. That's a hot topic this week, is speech versus silence. Pete, I agree. In fact, also, Pete brings up a good point. He says, I need more guns. One of the things we do on this channel is because my other content doesn't get promoted very well by YouTube, so I don't make any money with my other content that I put out. So if you want to see more guns on the channel, I do ask that you help. You can donate directly to me on our Cash App, or you can donate in the stream. And right now we're working on earning enough to buy a 1911. And we are above 10,000 subscribers, so we are going to we're going to give away a firearm later this year before Christmas. So I'll have more detail on that. No, it's not a charity. I understand that. You don't have to give me anything. I'm not going to beg you for money. But if you want to see more guns on this wall, until my YouTube shorts and my other content, until the 10,200 or so of you actually start watching all of my videos, that's how we're going to get money on the channel, is when people donate to the channel. Dominic, I have an Aero Precision ATI combo, and then I also have an Aero Precision AR-10. Mosins are fun. I mean, they're fun in the sense that, like, they're a part of history. They're not fun to shoot. Maybe once or twice. Are you a fan of FRTs? Okay, so Fish, you and I, like you mentioned, you're an AGR. You've shot full auto, or you've shot 3-round burst. I've shot full auto many times, and it's just not the same. Like, FRTs aren't the same. Neither are super safeties. So, like, it's kind of a good way to simulate full auto, but you're never going to be as accurate with an FRT or a super safety as you are with full auto. Because you know, if you've ever shot like an M240 or a 249, or even if you've shot a full auto M4, not just a 3-round burst, like, as you're burning through your mag or your belt, you can get pretty dialed in with full auto, because you start to feel how the recoil affects things. With FRTs and with super safeties, you still have to have that forward pull when you're holding the trigger, or you have to hold the trigger in the right spot, and so it's really hard to dial it in the way that you need to, and the way that you can with full auto. Turtle Cat, I have Glock clones. Abraham, I am in Utah. I'm not a huge fan of the ATF banning anything. Am I trans? Sure. I agree. AR Murphy, yes. Ban. How many firearms do I have? I think I have 10 right now here in the room. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There are 12 in this room right now. Technically, there's 13 in the room right now.
Dad?
Yeah.
I need a charger for Grandma. She doesn't know which put her other
The one that we just gave her, it's upstairs, still plugged in.
It is?
It should be. Nobody took it. So.
Okay, but it's really short.
Okay. If she's sleeping, it shouldn't matter.
But she's always checking her phone in her sleep.
Okay, so go take the red cord that I gave you from the PlayStation. It was down by the PlayStation.
The red cord?
Yeah, there was a red cord right in front of my PlayStation upstairs on the floor. And then that black plug, and use that. Please go look.
Okay.
I really don't want to argue with you. So, I don't care if he's being sarcastic or not. The P226 is pretty classic, as long as it's not a brand new one. I don't support giving SIG money right now. Luis, yeah, that's not really my thing. I'm not an extremist leftist. I don't do that because I disagree with people. So, oh, Mango, thank you. So, my child watches all the time, Christina. I would rather children be in here and learn about firearm safety and actual ownership and responsibility than they do from Fortnite, Roblox, and video games and leftist media that says that, like, firearms are like grenades that run amok and shoot people randomly. That's not what they do. So that's the reason I do that. And if I'm going to pay for the firearm, which I am, and then I'm going to have my FFL, the dealer, the licensed dealer, ship it to someone else's licensed dealer, they still have to pass a background check.
Good night.
Okay, good night. I love you.
I love you too.
Mwah. So, nobody's going to get it that's not legally allowed to own it. And an FFL knows that they don't give it to someone that can't pass the background check. That's why I do it through an FFL. So there's not a loophole. Like they're not just getting it because I want them to have it and they're not allowed to have it. There's no loophole. Loopholes don't exist. Christina, so this whole room is a safe. This whole room is a safe. Not a rat. I don't know what you mean by that's the most retarded thing I've ever heard. Telling my daughter I love her and good night? That's a strange thing. Sparky, what's going on, bud? Hello. My dad told me how to shoot a gun and safely. Yes, Tornado. I love it. There's literally a block that was plugged in upstairs on the counter with that short cord. It should work with that. Thank you, Moose. I appreciate it. Welcome to the channel. I got multiple legal U.S. pew-pews without background check from private parties in Utah. Universal checks would close that loophole. So if you buy it, if you're buying it from a private party and you are not supposed to own a gun, you're still breaking the law. You're not allowed to own a gun. It's not up to the person selling it to make sure that you're not a lying piece of shit. I'm not saying you are. You did it legally. But if someone else is a lying piece of shit, why are we going to hold the person who, like, why are we going to hold them responsible? Thank you, Connor. I appreciate that. I love Jesus. Nick, I've been carrying the PSA Dagger version of the 43X. So, the Glock 43X clone from PSA, that's what I've been carrying as my EDC. Mango. Good night, sis. I love you. Gravity is wrong. I was Eddie the Eagle for 9 years for our state NRA Hunter Safety course. The disaster of gun safety in this room is an insult to responsible firearm owners everywhere. Why? You have no idea what's over here. You have no idea what kind of room this is. All you see is this wall. You have no idea. You don't know if these are loaded. You don't know if these are unloaded. You don't even know if they have firing pins. You have no idea, Eddie the Eagle. You're judging me based on not all the information. You're just being a dick. Which is rude. Man. How do you know? But gravity. You have no idea if they have firing pins in any of them. So it doesn't matter if they have trigger locks. And on a Glock, a trigger lock won't do anything. A trigger lock just makes it so that it's more awkward to pull the trigger back. So that's fine. I love it. I love it when we get trolls in here and people that think that they're better. Free to sell, free to steal. You have no idea. You don't know what's over here. Can you see what's over here? How do you know I don't have? How do you know this isn't a safe and there's not like a big safe wall right here? That there's not like a door with a lock and deadbolts and a combination. You can't see over here. All you can see is this wall. You don't know if I've got a safe over here. You don't know if I've got a safe over here. You have no idea. I just have them displayed. Just like a store that sells them would have them displayed. I don't sell them. I'm just showing them. You're a piece of shit and you're judging me by nothing more than what you see. I'm just calling it like it is. It sure is from on high. It sure is. Oh, I love talking to the trolls. They're the best. You're good, Apocalyptic. Is this the below average challenge? Hell yeah. Express the freedom, brother. Yeah. Everyone sell your guns. Push peace. If we could ensure that there would be never any murders or crime of any kind at all throughout the world, then yeah, get rid of guns. You can't do that because people still have hands and feet, but yeah. This is from H&M, Blue Sentinel. It's from H&M. Yes, I do like PDWs. I've got a 9mm AR right here. You see them in your closet. What's the need for so many guns? There isn't a need for one. I just have them because they're fun. What do you think about the Utah incident? I think what happened to Charlie Kirk was like horrific and awful and abysmal. No one should be murdered because you don't like what they say. For the Star Wars Lego and guns. I love it, John. Thank you. Welcome. Yeah. Star Wars Legos, guns. I've got knives too. I actually have a Lego shotgun from China that I've never put together. It's up here on the wall. Dude, dope. I have a Mac 11 build. Oh, cool. Mac 11s are fun. Protect yourself, your home, your family. Why? Yeah, I love it. Do you have a Kel-Tec? I don't. I have a Cyber Patriot 17. I was a Cyber Patriot. Mentor? So I helped teach a Cyber Patriot team here in Utah last year. And the school and the coach were very much aware that I had a YouTube channel and I love guns and that I talked about guns and things like that. So, yeah. Hiding behind their compensators. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Of course we're hiding behind our compensators. I am Canadian. Yes. Moose, thank you. What's your goal with YouTube? Talk to people, have discourse, educate them about firearms. Jim, it's a Mossberg. It's a 930. Yeah. I don't have a Rex 01. Do you think learning gunsmithing is worth it financially? I think that the vast majority of the gunsmithing that most people may need or be interested in can be learned through videos on YouTube and other resources and through reading. I don't necessarily think, unless you want to go and do that as your career, I don't think you need to go and learn like from SDI, and I think you'd be better off going to like a gun shop with a gunsmith and asking if you could apprentice under them. 357 Rex. Yes, I do actually go backpacking with my guns. Thank you, Remo. It's a 4570. Alan, why wouldn't I have something for everyone in my family to be able to use if they need? And why do I have to limit myself? Why do I have to limit myself? Do people only own one car? They only need one car. Why do they own more than one car? Why would I limit myself? Oh, Ethan. Okay, so that's a great question. So I have an AR-10 right here, chambered in 6.5 Creedmoor. I've got a Marlin Model 60 22 long rifle. I've got a Henry Arms 4570. I have an AR-15 with a 223 Wild chamber. For those of you that don't know, that just means it can shoot 5.56 and 223 without compromising any other performance of either. 12 gauge shotgun, 9mm AR, 12 gauge shotgun, 12 gauge shotgun, 9mm from PSA, 44 Magnum from Colt, and then another 9mm from PSA. And then I'm carrying the Glock 43X clone from PSA's, which is a 9mm. So, yeah. I really love Israel. I think Israel's great. I think that they are a beacon of democracy and freedom. They're our greatest ally in the Middle East. I think that it's terrible that they have to wage war against Palestine the way that they are, because Hamas is a bunch of cowardly terrorists that hide amongst their civilians and use their civilians as shields. And so in order to eradicate them as a terrorist organization and a horrific government that was elected by, I believe, a suppressed people, that they have to take the actions that they do. So, David, I don't own the full Glock. I own the PSA version of the Glock. Dude, we have 350 people in here right now. That's amazing. I hope everybody's liking. I actually I still don't have a banner. If somebody wants to take a minute and write a like, share, and subscribe something, you guys can all compete. I will pin one of the messages. And then we do giveaways and we do all kinds of fun things on the channel. We did push-ups earlier today. So let's say when we get to 200 likes, we'll do a toast. And if we get to 350 likes, I will do a giveaway. I'll give away either one of these hats, I'll have it shipped to you. I'll give away a giant mug like this. It's a 100-ounce insulated mug for staying hydrated. Or I'll give away a stuffed animal Snecky like you see here on the floor. That's our mascot for the channel. That's Snecky, the no-step snake. So, oh man, we got some great dudes in here. Thank you. We'll go with Alonzo's. Thank you, Alonzo. We're gonna go with yours. Thanks, bud. Yes, I am giving away a pistol. So I promised everybody on the channel that when we hit 10,000 subscribers, I would be giving away a firearm. So I'm going to be giving away a pistol. You do have to legally be able to own a pistol. So if your state says you can't own one under the age of 21, if you're under 21, I can't send it to you. So we'll figure something else out. But I am building a pistol. It's going to be a modified PSA dagger, compact. The slide and the barrel and the firing group are all going to come from Stifler Manufacturing. If you own Glocks and you want to upgrade your slide, check out Stifler Manufacturing. You can use the code ZESTYUTAH and get, I believe it's 15%, 10 or 15% off your slide. No, I don't have an FFL, so I am shipping it from my FFL. I have several followers here on YouTube that are gun shops here in the Wasatch Front area here in Utah, and they've offered to graciously ship the firearm for me from one FFL to another. So you will have to have an FFL, you have to provide that FFL, and then it will be shipped directly to that FFL, and then you can go through the background check and you can pay the transfer fee on your end. So you're getting a free firearm, you have to pay the transfer fee and do the background check. That's all you have to do. So as long as you can legally own it, you'll be able to get it. Demon, it's a 4570. Bruce Wayne, sure, go ahead, report it. Report away. I'm not doing anything. Ian Lachey, yes, never forget the USS Liberty. I know exactly what you're talking about. You're wrong, but that's okay. It's the law. It's the law, Sat. I agree, but it's the law. I would love a PSA dagger. Sad I was denied buying ammo because I'm under 21, definitely moving states. I'm guessing you're in like Oregon, Colorado, or California. Maybe Illinois. Jason, what's better, 45 or 9mm? Do you have, I think it depends, one, on what you're most proficient with, what you shoot, but also I think it depends on what size firearm we're talking about. So if I'm going to go with like an ultra compact, let's use a Glock for example. So there's, I think it's the Glock 27 that's like a 45 caliber ultra compact. It's like 7 rounds of 45. If you want to carry a super ultra compact pistol, but you want to get the most out of it, I would recommend maybe a 45 in that case, like a Glock 27. Because then you're getting some tremendous knockdown power, you're getting some good ballistics, and it's super compact, so it's not going to be, painful. Now, if you want to carry something like a 19 or a 19X, you want to carry a Glock 43X, that size, so maybe not ultra compact, but just compact or subcompact, might be better to go with a double stack 9mm. You're still getting good ballistics, but you're getting more ammo out of it. So it just kind of depends on what your style is. Cool, Remo. I like that. CZ82. Yes, that happens, Mitchell. Yeah, I don't understand. Everybody also remember, if we get to that 200 likes, then we're going to do our toast, and 350 likes, I'll send you something. We'll do a spinny wheel, and I'll pick one of you, and you'll just send me your address, and I'll make sure you get a prize. Thank you, RP. Appreciate it, bud. That's right. Yeah, you guys, everyone who's on here, and like, I don't know what the confusion is. You have to pass a background check if you're gonna buy a gun. Like if you buy a gun at a store, you have to pass a background check. Now, if you buy a gun privately, you may not have to pass a background check, but the person selling the gun, unless they're also knowingly breaking the law, they're going to ask for some information from you. They'll ask you, like, do you have a concealed carry license? Oh, you don't? Okay, well, I'm going to need your driver's license because I'm going to take a photo of it, and I'm going to need you to fill out this bill of sale, and then I'm going to take it to an FFL. And I've seen lots of people do that. I know a lot of people that do gun transfers through FFLs, even if it's private party. So the whole, you can get around it if you buy privately. Like, you can, but it's not as easy as you think. And most people like aren't gonna just sell a random person a gun. If like me, I don't sell people random guns. I ask, do you have a CCW? Okay, if you don't have a CCW, then unfortunately we're gonna have to go to my gun shop, and they're gonna do the transfer there because they're gonna run your background check. That's just the way that I do it. Sorry, guys. We don't do things illegally. Responsible gun owners don't sell firearms illegally, and they don't sell to illegal owners. It's only criminals that break the law. That's why they're criminals. Pepe, best advice for a new shooter to the AR platform. Go to the range a lot. Go to the range a lot. Practice with your iron sights and become proficient. Yeah. Social engineering. I feel you, man. I have family that moved away from Canada, from Alberta, down here to Utah. 500ism. That is an excellent question. In Europe, they aren't. Like, you have to have them to hunt in many, many countries in Europe. Like, if you're going to go hunting, you have to have a suppressor because they don't want to disrupt the wildlife. They want to protect the people that hunt. They want to protect their hearing. It should just be a universal, like, it shouldn't be a protected item or a registered item. Yeah. I agree. Exactly, Tim. TM0282. Yeah. What is Ian? You're right. No one does need this many guns. I can, and I like them. Yeah. Just like nobody needs more than one car. Jordan, I'm very sad for you that you feel that way. CCW, what does concealed carry have to do with buying a gun? So, the reason I say what does CCW have to do with buying a gun is if you can't get, if you own a CCW, you would pass the background check because it's more thorough than just the firearm purchase background check. So if you have a CCW, you can own a firearm. You can't have a CCW, pass the background check for a CCW, the criminal background check, the local, state, federal, full-on background check, and like have your fingerprints and everything, because that's what you have to do to get a CCW. You're not going to pass that background check, I'm not going to sell you a gun. Or I'm not gonna ship you a gun or privately sell you a gun because I can't do that background check. So if you have one, I don't need to do that background check because you have a CCW. Now what I'm hoping is that the 4473, the background check database that they use, I personally think that they should just make that free for anyone to use. The reason it's not free is because every time a gun is sold and they run that background check, the reason that you get charged is because the federal government charges the FFL, I believe, if I remember correctly, they charge the FFL to run that background check. That's part of the reason it's not free to use, which would make selling guns safer, is because it's a way for the federal government to collect revenue. The mustache tells everything. Yes, I am an attractive bastard. Thank you. Why would it be any safer? I'm not sure what you mean. Why would what be any safer? Apocalyptic. I don't own any. I don't have any extra uppers right now for any of my ARs. So. What is the giveaway for the PSA dagger? Seuss, we're gonna do it before Christmas. That I promise. I promise one of you will get a PSA dagger for Christmas. Someone's gonna get it. John Wiley, it's gonna be 223. It's gonna be 223, and it's gonna be my AR. What's my CC? A CCW is a concealed carry weapons license. It's not called a CCW in every state. Sometimes it's called sometimes it's called a CCL. Sometimes it's called like a firearm concealed license, an FCL. It's something along those lines. CHL where Seuss is, so it just depends. Awesome, Nick. That's good to hear. Concealed carry is more safe because if someone is looking to steal a gun, they can't see yours. Yeah, I prefer concealed because you kind of paint a target on yourself if you're open carrying, but yeah. Your version mustache equals ego. Everyone else's mustache equals predator. My mustache isn't done growing. I actually had to shave because I'm in the reserves. I had to shave because they were doing they were doing my profile check and seeing the treatment that I have on my face because I get really bad razor bumps and like ingrown hairs and all that. So I had to shave my whole face. So I'm regrowing my mustache. Normally my mustache is the glorious mustache of like a firefighter or a fighter pilot or a cop, that when you see it, it makes you want to take your pants off. So I don't tell you to do that. It just happens. I walk by and it happens. I'm sorry. Get a better belt. Gemua, I have the PSA Micro. I have the PSA Micro. I also have the PSA Compact, but I've been carrying the Micro more often right now. Pros and cons of subsonic rounds. Pepe. Okay, so even if you don't have, that's a great question. Even if you don't have like a suppressor, subsonic rounds, there's still advantages. One, they're quieter. They're still a little bit quieter. Not much. Not anything that you'll notice with like an, you know, if you're wearing ear protection or anything like that. But because they're slower, they're less likely to overpenetrate. So in like a 9mm, if you have a subsonic round, if you're using them, like I know Winchester makes subsonic jacketed hollow points. Those can be a great self-defense round if you don't want to spend a lot of money on ammo, because they're a little bit slower, they're less likely to overpenetrate your target, but they're also less likely to overpenetrate like a wall if you maybe aren't as proficient and you miss your target. So subsonic rounds can serve multiple purposes. So that's a great question. What would be more safe about background checks not costing money? So if they didn't cost money, I understand now, Saucy. The reason it would be more safe is because if it didn't cost money, then anyone, so the reason it costs money is because the federal government charges FFLs to do it. If the federal government made it free, then if someone came to me and wanted to buy a firearm, I could say, hey, let me see your ID. And I scan their ID, and then it does the background check, and I go, oh, you're not a criminal. You don't have a criminal background. You don't have any crimes against you, even though you don't have a CCW. Cool. you're safe to for me to sell this firearm to. Why would that be bad? Why would being able, that would be, everybody talks about universal background checks. You want to know what would make universal background checks more realistic? Is if the federal government stopped charging to do federal background checks and stopped requiring federal firearms licensed dealers to do the background checks. If we could just do it for free from a phone on an app, which is how federal licensed dealers have to do it. They use an app and you fill it out. If I could just do that anytime somebody wanted to buy a gun, then there is no longer the loophole of a criminal getting a gun legally, even though if they're a criminal and they're buying a gun through someone and they're not supposed to own it and they intend to use it for an illegal purpose, but they're buying it from someone, it's called straw purchase. Like, that's still illegal. Hey, what's going on, California teen? Okay, so honorary Canadian. I grew up LDS. I'm not a practicing member, but I'll defend like the people who are LDS are Christians. So if that's something that people start to bring into question and say isn't true, I'll defend that. What was it? Someone, Pepe, can you explain MOA and why it's important? Okay, I'm going to explain MOA in the most basic terms. MOA is like your shot group, okay? And people talk about how important MOA is. I'm going to tell you a secret that most people are going to fight me on, all right? Most people are going to fight me on this. MOA doesn't matter. For 95% of shooters out there, MOA doesn't matter. All right? If you're just defending your home, if you're just a recreational shooter or you're just a hunter, all right? Which should be about 95% of shooters. Yukon, what's going on, buddy? Love you, man. I am not LSD. I'm not a drug, but I did grow up LDS. Gravity, I didn't go anywhere. You left. So, if you're 95% of shooters that are out there, MOA doesn't matter. So, like for instance, when I talk about, when you hear people talk about like a sub 2 MOA, that's going to be like a space that fits this little patch on my wall. It means that all of their rounds are less than 2 inches in any direction from one another. All of the rounds are less than 2 inches away from each other. But as someone who's doing home defense, if you're thinking about home defense, this is not the size target that you should be trying to hit. This is the size target that you should be trying to hit. And this is what you need to practice hitting. Because if you're trying to neutralize a threat, okay, if someone breaks into my home and I put 5 rounds into their right shoulder, this space, I haven't neutralized the threat. I've neutralized their right shoulder. Now, are they going to keep fighting? No, probably not. Are they going to want to get out of my house? Yeah, probably. But they are not neutralized, and that doesn't stop them from potentially doing it in the future. If I put 5 rounds into a target this size and across this part of their body, they're not going to be trying to escape my house, and they're definitely not going to break into anybody else's house ever again. So, in a home defense situation, a tiny MOA is not always going to be the best thing. Unless you're trying to shoot super long range, 95% of you, MOA doesn't matter. Honorary, no, they caught him, yeah, like Thursday night. They caught him Thursday night. Yeah, saucy. Thank you, Josh. Thank you for explaining that. Did Yukon leave? Everybody go check out Yukon. Everything Yukon. He's a great channel. Another gun guy, but he also does like homesteading stuff. Really cool guy. I like Yukon. What did somebody say? I do talk to myself a lot. I'm trying to read the chat and catch up, but I was answering somebody's question. Mango, thank you again. Yeah, we can do a close-up of the guns. MKS, if you really want to see the scope, I can't show you through the rifle scope. It's just an Amazon scope, dude. I really don't have anything fancy. Somebody wanted to see the Mossberg, so there's the Mossberg. Oh, sorry. Danny, I didn't say if you shoot a 2-foot grouping, it's better than a 2-inch grouping. I said that if you're shooting in home defense, then having a grouping that is a body-sized target is going to be more effective at neutralizing your target than a 2-inch grouping. Words have power and words have meaning. Pay attention. Danny. Okay, I know that you're struggling, bud. Okay, words are hard. I get it. We talk about that on this channel a lot. Sometimes, all right. Sometimes people in this community, they get very focused on being the most accurate, most badass, like wannabe Navy SEAL dudes on the planet. Okay, I get it. I understand. All right, I've worked with Navy SEALs. They're cool. They're awesome. Right? In a home defense situation, again, if you shoot a target that's this small, there's nothing wrong with that. But it doesn't guarantee you're going to neutralize your target. If I shoot someone in the thigh this much, 5 times in this big a space, Danny, it's not going to guarantee that they're going to be neutralized. But if I shoot a target that's this size, all right, 5 times, and it's spread out, that target isn't going to be moving, and they're not going to do anything. They're going to be completely neutralized. It's fine. Yeah. Thank you, Ginger. I appreciate it. Thanks for donating, and also good comment. I'm not trying to say that you shouldn't try to be a very accurate shooter. But I am saying that if all you care about is getting the smallest MOA possible, you're probably not focusing on the right things. Focus on the basics and the essentials and the fundamentals. That will serve you better in any type of defensive or tactical situation. Then, yeah, but if I've got this super $8,000 AR-15 that can shoot a sub 1 MOA, that's great. The guy that has the $300 PSA rifle that can shoot a 5 MOA, he's just as good at neutralizing a threat as you are. Randrews, yes, that is true. Short Shot Tony would definitely appreciate you bringing that up. What do you zero your pistol at for home defense? Honestly, I don't think I've ever zeroed my pistol. I mean, in the sense that, like, I don't know, 25 yards, 15 yards, 15 to 25 yards. I think it just depends. I have optics on my pistol, so I guess they're accurate for I don't know, target about this size. I can pretty consistently hit a target this size and put groups together that are decent at 25 yards. I have hollow sun optics on my pistols. I have the 407C and the 407K. I have a 407C and a 407K on my pistols with optics. TJ, agreed. We are lucky. People don't realize how lucky we are. But give me your best John Wayne impression. Dude, I don't know. I feel like in order to do John Wayne, you gotta like, you're like, what do you mean he can't swim? So, I don't know. Like if you've ever seen The Shootist, like John Wayne in The Shootist is very different than John Wayne in, say, The Cowboys. All right? His last movie, The Shootist, is very different. The way he talks and his mannerisms and everything, very different in that than he was in The Cowboys. What do you recommend to me for a first gun for self-defense? Sam, what kind of experience do you have with shooting guns? Thank you, New England. This is a Marine plasma bolt caster from Warhammer 40K. This one shoots depleted uranium 75 caliber shots. So, thank you, Bison. I'm glad that you felt that was not below average. You shot an AR-15 and a 1911 with my uncle a few times. If your budget affords it, I would say go with the AR-15. If you're familiar with it and you're comfortable with it and you're accurate with it, an AR-15 is a great home defense gun. Is that a Nerf gun? This is designed, it looks like a Nerf gun, but like I said, this is a plasma bolt caster from Warhammer 40K. I took it off of Marine. I am a Space Marine. I work for the Emperor and I fight evil and Satan and demons and stuff. This is actually a depleted uranium 75 caliber Magnum from Halo. It doesn't look like it, but I promise you that's what it shoots. And then this is a fully semi-automatic scoped deadly 75 Magnum round clip revolver. So, yeah. I know they look like Nerf guns, but really they're weapons of mass destruction. So, what do I think about an 8? Like a European 8mm? Like for hunting? I mean, I don't think it's practical because the ammo is not as easy to find. There aren't as many options for it, and it's a little pricey. Like, I think you'd be better off with 30-06. It's not a bad round. Sam, I have Amazon optics on mine. A lot of people say, like, why do you have trash glass and trash optics on your guns? You're a pawn, you're a noob or a plebe. And I say, okay, well, I've had them for 10 years and they hold 0 and they work and they weren't expensive. I'm not saying there isn't a place for expensive or better name brand glass. I'm just saying, like, if none of us are Navy SEALs and none of us are gonna be Navy SEALs, you don't have to spend a lot of money on an optic for it to be good and work and be reliable. Is it gonna have a sub 2 MOA? No. Is it gonna have a 4 or 5 MOA? Probably. Apocalypse, I actually don't own an air rifle. I don't own any air rifle. Also, agree with Hotbox. There's nothing wrong with iron sights. Hey guys, Jordan's back. He's still sad that he hates Israel and I don't. So, have you tried out the SIG Romeo 5? Mr. Gaming, I don't like SIG as a company right now, so I don't buy anything SIG. I would probably buy a Hollow Sun or I'd buy a Siley. I actually don't have a problem with a laser on a rifle or on a pistol. I know a lot of people say don't rely on that, but it works if it's zeroed properly. Pepe, my only rifle that I have that isn't zeroed to 100 yards is my 6.5 Creedmoor. It's zeroed to about 400 yards, but my AR-15 is just zeroed to 100 yards. Because I'm not going to hunt with it. I'm just going to take it to the range, and I'm going to try not to engage with things past 100 yards, but if I need to, I can. Murray, no, they didn't. Got a 50 cal, cool. 6.5 or gay, okay. How much is the rifle? It's not for sale. Lost in translation. You're a dumbass. I don't have a 50 cal stacked. I have a 45-70 though. Oh, Rick, it's because it's a 6.5 Creedmoor. I use it for long range shooting. I don't hunt with it. I just used it for long range shooting, and I haven't zeroed it to anything else. So it's just been zeroed to like 400 yards for a long time, and then I adjust as needed depending on how far I'm shooting. But with 6.5 Creedmoor, you could probably zero it anywhere between 200 and 700 yards, and you're going to have pretty minimal difference in your overall rise or drop. 6.5 Creedmoor is kind of like cheating for long range shooting. Nope, I can't, Mario. You're right. I can't shoot. Sam, if you're using an AR and your intention is to... wait, somebody asked about my live streams popping. Ginger Ninja. No, I didn't brag anybody, Ginger. I finally broke that 10,000 sub, and I talk with people, man. My other content doesn't get shit, but the live streams do really well right now. I don't know why. Connor, this AR has a 223 Wild barrel. So I'm assuming that you know that you know what that means. So I'm gonna let you know that this AR-10 is chambered in 6.5 Creedmoor. Mr. Gaming Fan, I don't know if CV Life is good. It's a very inexpensive brand. I think it's actually kind of like an airsoft brand. But some of the airsoft brand stuff that's out there is built pretty robust. I don't know if you've seen, but some of the dudes that do airsoft, they treat their guns like way worse than we do and beat them up way worse. So it's probably pretty solid. I'm not saying CV Life is solid. I'm saying some airsoft stuff is pretty solid. I've never shot with CV Life stuff. So it could be good, it could not be good. But here's the thing. It's very inexpensive. So you could spend 20 bucks on an optic and have it be excellent, and then you can be like, dude, I saved like 200 bucks by buying a $20 CV Life optic. It holds zero, and it didn't cost me a lot of money. And in the end, even if it sucks, you only spent 20 bucks on it. So Fireball, I'm wearing clothes and a mustache. Can you explain what the reticle lines mean on the side of the main crosshairs? The reticle lines on the side, the left and right, if your reticle has that, it's for windage, so that you can kind of understand, okay, will it hit this far away, and you can kind of generally judge so that you know where you can aim if you need to adjust left or right, if you don't have time to try and correct it. Gaming fan, I think that would be fine on a Ruger 1022. I do know that, Jeff. Hard pass, yes. Wait, hard pass, are you the same hard pass from X? Because I think we follow each other on X if you're the same dude. Do you buy a guy and train with it? Just buy a guy and train with it? Are you that hard pass? Because we can, Murray. Because it's fun sometimes. Sometimes it's fun. Because some men just want to watch the world burn, Master Bruce. Again, Sam, I think it depends on what you're proficient with. Depending on where you shoot and how you shoot, I would say you're probably fine practicing. If it's an AR, if it's home defense, zero it at 100 yards or 50 yards. And if you can hit targets proficiently at 50 yards, you can probably hit targets proficiently at 10 or 15 or 20. Sorry, my phone is being kind of dumb. I stream from a phone, guys. Yeah, Vortex does have some inexpensive options for scopes, but if you're just getting started and just getting practicing, and you just want to see if you like a certain type of optic, like a red dot versus a hollow versus a scope, I mean, don't spend $3,000 on an optic that you might not end up liking. Go practice with sub $100 optics. See what kind you like most, and then go with that. Apocalyptic, you've gone beyond what my expertise is. I should say my hobbyism and enthusiasm is. You're speaking another language to me. I've always cared about school shootings. I've always wondered why we refuse to protect schools as much as we protect prisoners and celebrities and politicians and airports and police stations and baseball stadiums and basketball courts and everything else that people go to that are not as important as children in schools. You should ask your politicians, your local politicians, why we don't protect schools the way we do jails and prisons and celebrities and sports arenas and banks and airports and train stations. Those are just a couple things that I can think of that we as a society have accepted deserve better protection than children. If you're going to talk to me about caring about children, if you're going to talk to me and say that I don't care about children and schools, then I would like you to explain why we protect those other things more than children and schools. No, a gun didn't save Kirk, but the gun didn't shoot itself either. Sam, I think it depends on what you want to do for a career. If you want to be a cop, then be a cop. You can join the military and then be a cop later. You could be a cop and then join the military. If you want to do IT, if you want to be a welder, if you want to be a mechanic, and you want to get paid well to do it, you want to learn skills and have a bunch of different experiences in life, I think the military is great. If you want to stay local, then go be a cop. We shouldn't have to make schools forts. Okay, We shouldn't have to make school sports, but at this point, something has changed in society because, like, school shootings, the prominence of school shootings, the relative frequency of school shootings, they didn't used to happen. Americans have always had access to guns. Americans have always had mental health issues. Schools have always existed. Like dissension between political ideas and crime, all of that has always existed. So what has changed in the last 30 years that has seen such an uptick in school shootings? If we can't name what that is, and we can't prevent that from continuing, I personally think it's notoriety. I think it's fame. I think it's the focus and the prevalence of the media and social media and all those things on whenever a school shooting happens. And it's this idea that they happen much more frequently than they do because they don't happen that frequently. I think because of that, they're going to continue to happen. I don't think they're going to ever go away. But we could prevent them from happening as often, and we could prevent them from being effective if we do change the way that we build schools and protect schools. Like the days of not having protected schools, I think we have to accept that those don't exist anymore. Other countries that don't have guns the way that we have guns still protect their schools that way. Why don't we do that? Richard, these are all patches I've collected on different deployments I've been on. Jess, I think that would be a great solution. Let retired veterans or retired police officers, military, let them be armed security and let them not have to ever pay taxes again. They would do it for free if they just didn't get taxed on their retirement. Pepe, that's probably part of it. I think that's a contribution. Again, correct, Ginger, correct. Why is it just in the last 30 years that it's become so prevalent and so well known? Unless it was happening and the media and communities and everybody just lied and covered it up, which could be the case. Murray, yeah, I've established this. I'm definitely Air Force. Bradley, I think if teachers choose to be armed and want to be armed and be trained, we shouldn't stop them. Like, we should allow them to be armed and trained if that's what they choose. Honorary Canadian, I would say whatever you're legally allowed to do in Canada, but Diva, are you asking about Charlie Kirk? I didn't choose the second over kids. And also, if I had to make that choice, it would be the second over kids, just so you know. Mario, sometimes. Willie Jenkins, what are you talking about? I'm not big on concealment. Grew up in rural Pennsylvania. Have a seat. Nah, it's okay. I like to stand. Higher education. That's not true. Some schools, higher education, they do allow you to carry on campus. Razors. So I'm not retarded. Why would I want to fight somebody? Why would I want to fight somebody? Hard pass. Yeah, I would definitely choose the ability to defend my right to speak, to defend my family, to defend my right to life, to defend against a tyrannical government, to defend against home invaders and foreign invaders. I would choose that right over the rights of kids, because if I can't do that, then my kids are forfeit anyways. So, Yeah, go learn about the Constitution. Go read about founding fathers. Go try again. Diva. Okay. Yeah, so Diva, the shot itself, if you're talking about making a shot and hitting the exact spot that Charlie Kirk was hit, so where he was hit is kind of irrelevant because the gun that was used, the shooter used a 30-06, which is an extremely accurate rifle, and it's a very effective round. It's used all over the U.S. and all over the world for hunting lots of different size animals. So it's very, very good at neutralizing. So it didn't really matter where he would have hit Charlie Kirk. He could have hit Charlie Kirk anywhere from here up, and Charlie is extremely unlikely to survive. So the fact that he happened to hit Charlie Kirk in the neck, that is very much, I don't think, skill. I think that was just happenstance. My assessment is that he was aiming for Charlie's heart, or he was aiming for Charlie's face. And he didn't zero or accommodate for the drop, which isn't very much. It's maybe 3 or 4 inches at 142 yards, which was the distance that he fired the shot from. So he either didn't accommodate that, or he over accommodated for it when he was aiming for his chest. So that's likely what happened. Antiquity, sure, that would be awesome. If you want to donate, you can absolutely donate. It's going to go towards a Colt 1911 for the channel. That's what we're currently working on paying for. Yeah, it's crazy, but that's just the reality of what it was like when it comes to Charlie. I think we're going to discover whether he admits that. My guess is he'll say he was aiming exactly where he hit. I don't think that that's really the point if we consider that Charlie was unlikely. I don't think Charlie was wearing any type of like ceramic ballistic plates. He may have had on a vest. But even with like a Kevlar vest, a 30-06 would have torn that to pieces. So it wouldn't matter. If he would have been shot in the head, 30-06 would have killed Charlie. If he would have been shot anywhere in the chest, even with like a level 3 vest and even like a steel trauma plate, Charlie was very unlikely to survive that. So I don't think with what this kid took and what this kid intended to do, and the relative simplicity of a 142-yard shot, Charlie wasn't going to survive this encounter, unfortunately. Okay, Tony, thank you. So that's kind of what I said, is he was either aiming for his heart and like, you know, had a little bit of adrenaline wiggle and it popped up a little bit, or he was aiming for his head and he zeroed at 100 yards, and because it was there was an extra 42 yards, it dropped maybe 1 or 2 inches. Sorry, Muddy. Sorry, Murray. I do cybersecurity. I do IT. Brian, good point. That's fair. Fair point. Sam, the fact that Trump got hit at all with the rifle that they showed, it was an AR-15, so far less reliable and accurate than 30-06 at the range that shooter was shooting at. And he was using a basic red dot. The red dot on that particular optic was probably the size of Trump. He probably just put the red dot on Donald Trump and pulled the trigger. So the fact that Donald Trump got hit in the head at all, and that's all that he got hit, like he's lucky. Donald Trump was lucky, and yeah. Kyle, yes, I do. Yes, 200 yards hitting a body-sized target, but when people say that it was a false flag and that it was planned so that Trump only got shot in the ear, like shooting, again, we talked about this, shooting a target that's half of this at 200 yards with wind and no magnification with a 223, that isn't anything easy. Mason, it is a Colt Anaconda. Yes. So, Shaniqua, yes, they are. Free liberty, that's a strange question. You're asking me like I was there. I wasn't there. It says, free liberty, you said, do you think he was able to confirm the kill? And then you said, is that why you didn't shoot another round? I wasn't there. I'm just assessing it based on what I saw. But I think he only shot one round because he knew what it was going to do. And he had a scope, so he probably shot. He hit him in the neck. And then that was it. That was all he wanted to do. He only wanted to kill Charlie Kirk. Hey, Justin. Hello. I'm in Utah. You're in West Virginia. How's it going? Oh, the Nerf guns on the wall. They are not for sale, unfortunately. Sure thing. I prefer conceal carry. So, Jaren, so what I get what you're saying there. I don't think it was actually a Mauser rifle from World War II. We know that it was chambered in .30-06. Based on the pictures that I've seen, I actually think it's like a Savage firearm with a Mauser action. So Mauser bolts, the Mauser bolt action is available in lots of different calibers. And it's one of the most popular, reliable, smooth bolt actions that exist. And that's where I think some of the confusion and some of the information is coming out. They're saying it's a Mauser imported rifle. I don't think that's the case. I think it's a Savage. I personally think it's a Savage 30-06 that's got a Mauser bolt action. Do I cosplay Army guy? I sure do, Hard Pass. I sure do. Sean, that is an excellent question. It's part of the joke of the channel. You ask Hard Pass. He could probably tell you why, and then like, because he clearly doesn't like me. But yeah, I think you could ask. Like, it's just part of the joke. Now, Zach, I think it was 30-06. If you look at the impact site, if you watched it in extremely slow motion, you'll see that it wasn't a small caliber round. Angelo, yes, I do. No, I don't think it was suppressed. Israel didn't have anything to do with it. No, it wasn't suppressed. Apocalyptic, I do. I have multiple first aid kits. We have stuff. I can see Tyrone is very intellectual. No, it was definitely a 30. It was definitely a 30-06. Yeah, it was 142 yards. Thank you, JH. I appreciate it. I'm glad that you like the way that my gut looks. I think round is a lovely shape for a dad. Hard Pass. I said, ask you why my name is below average Utah dad. What do you think the reasons behind all the shootings and all the killings? If you're talking about Charlie Kirk, it was, I mean, the guy had things like "Catch This Fascist," and he had some things on there about transgenders or gay. I can't remember everything that they said he found. There was something about ooh-woo and noticing a bulge. There was like a furry thing in there. So I think he just hated people that he disagreed with. And then the dude that shot up the school in Minneapolis, that guy, I think he just hated Christianity and wanted to kill kids. I didn't hear. Cool. We're all a little delusional, Tyrone. Danson. This is a Henry Arms Golden Boy, and it is the 4570 model. Focus, what's going on, buddy? Yeah, Zach was on. It was some kid from St. George, some random white kid whose family was Republicans, grew up in a Christian household. He lived with a transgender kind of furry boyfriend situation. And he thought Charlie Kirk was a fascist and wanted to kill Charlie Kirk because he was full of hate. That was the conversation his father said that he had. He said, the father was interviewed. The father's also the one that turned in the kid. Father said that like a week ago, he was having a conversation with the shooter, and the shooter said, "I hate Charlie Kirk. He's full of hate, and he's a fascist, and somebody should stop him from doing what he does." Something to that effect. Oh, so when you look at the firearm, so I talked about the Savage thing. So when I look at that firearm, I get that it could be a transplant. I don't think he went through that effort. So either he bought it like from a pawn shop, or he bought it secondhand, or maybe it was the family's and the family did the swap. But I don't see like casual shooters doing that. That seems like someone who wants to use a Mauser that's been converted to 30-06 to do because they have the wherewithal to do it. So either he bought it that way, or, like I'm saying, I know that in the news it says a Mauser 30-06. I'm not saying it isn't a Mauser 30-06, but if you look at the modern stock that's on it, you look at the way that the scope was mounted, like he didn't put it together that way. It kind of looks like an inexpensive Savage Arms. You know, Savage Arms, they have their Mauser style actions that are chambered in 30-06 that are fairly inexpensive, like $350. And it has that modern, like polymer style stock on it. That's what it looks like to me. I could be completely wrong. I don't think it really matters. We know that it was 30-06. I don't know that it matters if it was a converted K98 from, 8 mil or whatever to 30-06, and then someone modernized it with a modern stock instead of keeping it in the old original stock. I don't think that matters, but it looks like kind of an inexpensive Savage Arms or like a Savage Axis 30-06 that you could buy at Walmart or, Sportsman's Warehouse or whatever for like $350 that uses a Mauser action that's a bolt that's 30-06. That was all I mean. Sure, Brady. It can. So, Zach, the video that they show of him jumping off the roof, like you don't see it zoomed in all the way. as he's at the corner, I think rather than like try to convey that it was a really complicated thing, probably the video that we've all seen, he threw it off the roof before it zoomed in on him and you couldn't see it because it looks like it's like 240p quality video. You make content like Charlie Kirk. What armor and what guns should I carry so I don't end up like Charlie Kirk? I think that's the whole point, is that until people are willing to not be violent against individuals that they disagree with, there's no way to guarantee that you won't end up like Charlie Kirk. We shouldn't have to live in a society where we feel like because we have differing opinions and differing beliefs that we are at risk of being murdered. T. Smith, yeah, it's pretty awful. Yeah, there were people that noticed something up on the roof. Wow, Hard Pass, that's a little... Hey, Hard Pass, do you think that women who dress in bikinis deserve to be raped too? I just want to make sure I understand like where you stand on that. Because I mean, if you believe that people who disagree with others deserve to be murdered, I'm guessing you think that women deserve to be raped. Well, you said that Charlie Kirk got what he asked for. I don't think he asked to be murdered. So you must be implying that because he said things that people disagreed with, he deserved to be murdered. And so then that must mean you also believe that women who dress in whatever they dress in deserve to be raped when they're raped. Because I mean that's the same thing. You are literally saying that someone who says things that you disagree with deserves to die. So someone who dresses a certain way must deserve to be raped as well, in your mind. Oh. Dustin, he didn't make a neck shot. Okay, he happened to hit someone in the neck. He made a simple shot at 142 yards. A body shot here up is not hard with a 30-06 at 142 yards. He happened to hit a guy in the neck. Okay, so an M18. I didn't know if they made, like I said, they made it sound like it was some fancy import rifle. It looks like a pretty inexpensive, just basic hunting rifle. That's what I thought when I first looked at it, Sacred, but I guess not. Yeah, that's what I don't understand. People cheering, people that say we need gun control are also happy that he died by a gun. So. Thank you, Tim. Appreciate it, man. It's going to go towards the 1911. Oh, Worldwide, we're gonna get a Colt. That's what the channel, that's what the viewers voted for. So that's what we're gonna get. We're gonna get a Colt 1911. Thank you, Carson. I appreciate that. I love Jesus, and I appreciate him in my life. Yeah, I agree. The shot itself, like guys, it was 30-06. 30-06 is very effective at neutralizing things that are alive. So this dude, it didn't matter where he hit Charlie, from here up with 30-06, Charlie wasn't gonna survive. So he accomplished his goal in killing Charlie Kirk. And it didn't matter where he hit him from here up. With 30-06, somebody isn't going to survive that. He wasn't a Republican. He was white. He was male. Yeah. I guess he was ours because he's from Utah and he was white and male. So, apocalyptic, yes. Yes, I did. Jaycon, you mean the AR right here? I don't know. I think there's a lot of tinfoil hat stuff going on in the chat, which is fine. You guys. Yeah. There's a lot of tinfoilness going on. Yeah, trust me, if he was a conservative, if he was a Republican, he wasn't living with a transgender dude. Yeah, and that's why some people think that I don't think some people comprehend, because I've seen lots of people unalived in my lifetime. I've been in the military for 20 years. I work in ops. I do IT. I do lots of different things in lots of different capacities. And I've worked with lots of different units. The brain doesn't comprehend that kind of violence in a way that you can really understand. And so your brain and your memory, they interpret it in a way that makes it your brain tricks yourself into thinking that it's less bad than it actually was. You don't think Republicans aren't gay? That's a double negative, dude. So you do think Republicans are gay? I think some Republicans are gay. I don't think there are any Republicans that are trans. Yeah. Keep ignoring the hard hitting. Are you talking about all the tinfoil stuff, Donald? I know I can't guarantee it, but what gun and armor would help protect me at cost? I mean, unless you're going to shoot back, and if somebody's a sniper, you're probably not going to be doing anti-sniper snipering, Sam. So I would just, for personal protection, I would carry just like a Glock. Like a Glock 19 or a Glock clone. Or a Smith & Wesson, like an M&P 2.0. Like an M&P Shield 2.0, something along those lines. And, just, if you want to wear a vest, you can wear a level 3 vest with maybe level 4 plates. But that's expensive. Yeah, ballistic glass. Hey, sure. I'm doing all right. There's a lot of tinfoil in the. There's a lot of tinfoil hats in the in the chat today. Radio, dude. There's a lot of tinfoil hats in the chat today. Don't block any of them. It's kind of fun for them. Like they're actually just helping me stay in the algorithm, which I'm fine with. It's great. They're sitting here talking and it's great. SMK, yes, you could wear a full-on ballistic helmet, but if you're going to go to a college and you're going to have a conversation and you're going to want it to be inviting, you're not going to wear a full-on ballistic helmet to have a discourse with people. You have to accept some risk. Unless you're going to get, surround yourself in ballistic glass, like someone said. If you just want some body armor, like level 4 plates with a level 3 vest, and then, some kind of compact pistol, that's really all you need. Someone said what kind of holster I have. So I have for the 2 pistols down here, for the 2 Glock clones down on the floor, I have a CYA holster. You can get it on Amazon. It's not that expensive. This one is specifically for the PSA Dagger. The Dagger Compact and the Dagger Micro. And then for my compact, or for my micro, and it will work for the 43X, the 43, the 42, and the 48, and it'll work for the PSA Dagger Micro. I have a minimalist holster from Mission First Tactical. Cool, Snake. Appreciate it. So it's just I just took off my 43X, or my micro dagger. So it's the minimalist holster from Mission First Tactical. You can get it at Sportsman's Warehouse or at Cabela's or online. I think they're like 25 or 30 bucks. I like it because it's just a really small, like IWB holster. That's it. That's what I use. So this one or the bigger one for the bigger pistols. But if you have like a subcompact, like what I have a 43X clone. I just like something really small like that wraps around the belt. IWB. I'm sure, Tyrone, I'm a weenie. Okay. Yep. I don't speak the truth. Cool. Diva, I hope so. I hope we get 50 state reciprocity. But I think until there's a major overhaul at the ATF, and I think until we no longer have Pam Bondi as the Attorney General, I don't think it's going to happen. Because Pam Bondi is not pro-gun. She never has been. Anybody who thinks that she is should just look at her record. She's not pro-gun. Pam Bondi is not a friend to the Second Amendment. The ATF is not a friend to the Second Amendment. They never got rid of the... who was it? The lady that held up everything at Congress and the Senate and said that the repealing of the NFA and removing the requirements for short barrel rifles and suppressors to even be on the NFA. Until she's gone, I don't actually think our politicians, whether you are conservative or a liberal, I don't think they actually want the Second Amendment to be any more free than it is. There's very few that want us to have the freedoms that the Founding Fathers had. When people say, oh, well, the Founding Fathers only wanted us to have it for hunting, or Founding Fathers only wanted us to have, freaking muzzle load rifles. The muzzle loaders that they had at the time were state of the art. The puckle gun was state of the art, and that was a semi-automatic, like grenade style launcher, and people could have that. Cannons, and were artillery, and people could own cannons. Like the founding fathers allowed people to own whole warships. If you captured a warship, you could then commandeer it and proclaim yourself captain, and you would be the rank of captain, and you would be recognized as such in the Continental Army and Navy and Marines. So the founding fathers had no problem with us having exactly weapons of war, like full-on weapons of war, and being able to wage war. So anyone who makes that argument that we're not supposed to have that is stupid and has never read any of the Federalist Papers by John Adams and James Madison, Thomas Jefferson, you know, the dudes that wrote the Constitution. And they don't understand the meaning of the Second Amendment. So it's not there for hunting. It's there to protect our right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and to protect against governments, foreign and domestic. That is the entire purpose of the Second Amendment. We can still own cannons, but there are people that want to limit that. Apocalyptic. I actually am not a fan of non-lethal. I'm really not. If I had to have a non-lethal, I would probably say something like a Byrna or a Saber, like kinetic pepper ball launcher, because they're legal in all 50 states. But I'm not a fan. I personally am a fan of neutralizing. If you're too crazy to be out in public and to stand trial, then you're probably too crazy to exist, is my personal opinion. If it's not safe enough for you to be out in the public, you probably are not safe enough to be alive. I like it, SMK. I like it. Yeah, well, that must be a new development with all the shit laws that they just passed, Sacred Heart, there in Colorado. They're supposed to be legal in all 50 states because they're non-lethal. Sam, I'm torn with the drones thing. Like, I like security, but I also don't like invasion of privacy. So if an event, if they want to say that we're going to use drones for security, then that's fine. I accept that. If I'm going to be willing to go to an event, but I don't agree with like a police state level of drones flying around. I don't want our country to be like China. Nah, I'm just ignoring Tyrone. He can use this as a platform to talk about what he's talking about. It just keeps the channel and the stream and the algorithm, and then everybody who isn't, interested in what he has to say, we just ignore it. Thank you, and Vicky. Cool things. Free money, Pikachu. Cool, sounds good. Are you gonna use? I thought only I thought that only Persian and friggin' Meowth could use coin toss. I didn't know Pikachu could learn coin toss. Yeah, I mean I have. No, it's actually Kyle. It's actually quite warm. It's just fun for the channel. It's just fun. So, dude, I'm fine to talk about guns. Anybody want to talk about guns, you can ask me questions. Warren, I do. Right here. This is the Aero Precision 9mm AR, the ECP9. It uses the Glock mags. I think Almost all these Glock mags will work in this this AR right here. Tim, I'm not going to report Tyrone. I'm just ignoring him. Pikachu. This is a Henry Arms Golden Boy 4570. Yeah, Smith & Wesson makes a good 9mm. In RPR in 388 Lapua, Murray? Sacred, yes, it is. Nice, Blythe. Murray, do you mean 338 Lapua? You have 388 Lapua. I'm unfamiliar with 388 Lapua. Yeah, I mean, they actually make this Golden Boy in Henry, Marlin and Smith & Wesson. There's somebody else that makes lever action guns. Yeah, you're good, Murray. I wanted to make sure. Kyle, I don't have an SKS. I do have an AK, but it's not here. It's at the Gun Doctor. So yeah, Marlin makes one. Smith & Wesson makes one. Correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't Browning make a couple of lever action rifles that are the straight wall cartridges? And I know that Savage makes one. I saw a Savage 300 that was a lever action. Thank you, Josh. Thanks for donating to the channel. That'll go towards the 1911. I think we're at like maybe $350 towards the 1911. So still got a ways to go. Yeah, 4570 is nice. Yeah. Yeah, Savage. I saw one at a pawn shop. It was either a Winchester or it was a Savage chambered in 300 Savage. But it was a lever action that was definitely chambered in 300 Savage at one of my local pawn shops. It was kind of cool, but it was old. It was probably close to a 60-year-old rifle, and it wasn't in the best condition. But it was kind of neat that it was big old caliber 300 Savage. So. Warren, yes. I have a Hollow Sun on this one. It's the 407C, and then I also have the 407K on the micro that I carry on me. So, and then this the 9mm AR also has a hollow on it. Murray, this is all I have right now and here in this room. Thank you, Invicky. My son actually built that for me. So, I also have a Lego shotgun that's still in the box over here. Sam, we can't do live streams and touch guns. You cannot touch them at all. So, but guys, it is 11:30. We've been going for almost 2 hours. I don't think. Yeah, we're at 100. The semi-auto on. Oh, Murray, this is a Mossberg 930. Mossberg 930. We're down. I think we've definitely fallen out of the algorithm. We're down to 60 people watching. So I think what I'm gonna do. It's hot. Like I said, we've been going for about 2 hours. Sam, I actually have a bunch of videos on my channel. I have some long form videos and some short form videos. They're older because right now YouTube is hitting small YouTube creators like me. They're hitting us really hard when we put firearm videos out. Like if I used to be able to do a video of me shooting at the range, or I used to be able to do a video where I make a joke about like CZ owners and do like a reaction video where I drop one of my Glocks on the floor and I'm like, if I own a Glock, drop it on the floor and like, ah shit, and I pick it up. And I said, if I was a CZ owner, and then I drop and I film it in slow-mo, and then I like close up on my face, like, oh my gosh, that's gonna... Stuff like that, making fun of CZ guys, because I have a bunch of buddies that are CZ guys and they're fun to make fun of. I used to be able to do that and get like 10,000 views on a short. Now if I do that, I'll get 50. So they're YouTube for small creators. They're really, really trying to hammer down on any type of gun content. So PDX, thank you. Thank you, Warren. That is true, Murray. They do. So, thank you everybody for coming in. Thanks for talking. Thanks for having the conversations that we had. I'm glad that everyone had fun talking about all the different things that they did. Tyrone, I'm glad that you enjoyed using the chat to share your message. Hey, Smoke, what's going on, buddy? I'm actually getting ready to get off. Because my daughter was out, and so I wanted to do a live stream until she got home, and I think I heard her come home. But yeah, so I appreciate everybody being here. I'm glad that you all shared your opinions and your thoughts. Like I said, I don't want this to be an echo chamber. I want people to share their ideas. You may not change my mind. You probably won't. I'm a pretty thick-headed person. But that's not that's not even what Charlie Kirk was about. If you changed your mind, that was great, but it was more important to just have the conversation. The echo chamber is when everyone is saying the same thing and there's no differing opinion. You don't have to agree. You don't have to change your mind. You don't even have to like what the person says. It's when you start silencing the other voices. So that's why I don't silence trolls. That's why people that were saying terrible things, people that were saying things that I don't agree with, people that were attacking me, I wasn't going to kick them out. I wasn't going to boot them. They have a First Amendment. I'm going to continue to, they can say what they want. I just don't have to agree. So that's where I stand. That's what Charlie Kirk would do. That's what a good custodian of the First Amendment does. And as custodians of the Second Amendment, we should be willing to defend the First Amendment, even if that means we disagree with what people are saying. So thanks for stopping in, everybody. Love you guys. I hope we got some new subscribers. I haven't refreshed my page, so it'll be a super fun surprise. Perp Caper, yes, you can tell me something. Sam, I normally do it like 3 or 4 times a week, but I'm on orders right now with the reserves, and I'm working a late shift, so like I'm working like 12 to 12. So Monday through Friday, I'm not really doing streams right now. But when I'm not on that late shift, I'll start doing them again at night more often. Perp Caper, dude, if I can do it. If you have stuff and you want to send it to me, you can absolutely send it to my P.O. box. You can totally send it to my P.O. box. You're positive I'm a trans person. What? Thank you, Brian. Perp, what's a good email that I can contact you at? I'll totally, if you've got some Gunwall stuff, dude, I'll totally take it. I know, Murray. I'm not as cool as the Crayon Eaters or the Ground Pounders. Cool. How do I get in touch with you? I don't. All right. Thanks, man. I'll send you a message. So, you guys have a great night. Remember, always stay sexy, always stay zesty, always carry every day, and always carry with a round in the chamber. Until next time, friends. Do 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 do.